All right, peace to the family. Peace to the family. They in the chat saying they ready. Hold up, Kev. You see this? Sonya says, I'm ready for this one here. She says, I'm ready for this one here. Well, listen, family, get comfortable. We are now live. Let me get to a quick commercial. Then I'm gonna bring my guest on. You hit that like button. That's important. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family. Share the link if you buy your phone and you can. But be back in about 1 minute, family. All right. Get where's this commercial at? Okay. This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the masses. This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the masses. This is a gather. 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 This is a gather of the mass.
Hey family, on Sunday, October 13th, I am celebrating 29 years in promotion and production at the new Black Wall Street Mall with tribute to Dick Gregory. That's right, celebrating 29 years, so text that number to get more information. Remember, Baba Ashraf Kwesi and Mirror Kwesi will be closing out the evening with a salute by Dr. B. Sirius, Brother Rich, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Lorenzo Sanford, Sister Golda X, Sister Tassili Ma'at, and so much more. Make sure you go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerator or scan the QR code.
All right, family. Without further ado, want to welcome back to the platform. Y'all know this brother, seen him here before. He do his thing every time he come on the show. My brother Kev from over at Real Nagas on YouTube. Kev, what's up, man?
What up, brother Rich?
All the way from LA vibes.
LA all day, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, anything any UFO activity happening in LA that we need to know about, Kev?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, ain't no. You wouldn't see it. There's too many damn lights on the streets.
Oh man. I'm telling you.
It's hard to see.
What you been up to though, my brother?
Oh man, I've been working, putting together, trying to save people, trying to teach people these rights so they don't get their asses whooped by the popo.
Yeah, you be doing your thing with that, brother. You be doing your thing.
Yeah, man. I'm just, I just think it's just time for us to take over the game, and knowing your rights is pretty much is going to be the best way you do that, because that's the way you take advantage of the system, and take their power away. And so that's what I've been doing. You got to something that we've been dealing with the longest time is just dealing with the popo. You go back in the civil rights movement, people walking around with the police signs, stop the police, stop police brutality sign. I mean, we've been dealing with this for so damn long. So I was like, all right, look, we need to make this a non-issue so that we can move forward move forward in this society and take advantage of it. So that's what I've been doing, brother. Just trying to make sure everybody is not getting their asses whipped out here by the popo.
Hey man, keep up the great work, my brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Definitely need people teaching the world, the society, but Black people their rights. It's something that a lot of us just take for granted. We don't know the simplest things, even myself. So when you hand me that booklet, I was looking at it a lot. I'm like, damn, this is some good stuff. So we'll talk about that a little later on in the show. When you give your contact information. We got a very interesting topic tonight. I seen you talk briefly about it in one of your prior videos on your channel. We're talking about something. We're talking about time traveling, Kev. And what's interesting is the ex-president Donald Trump. He's running for president again. For some reason, when you mention time travel, when you mention Tesla, his name come up, his father's name come up. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to see, and Trump, I'm trying to figure out, like, does he know something we don't know? Because
I think so.
How the hell did he become president in the first place?
I think he does.
Kev, let's talk about what exactly is time traveling to you, from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective, and then we'll go on to Trump and Tesla's connection to time traveling, Kev.
Well, time travel, ultimately, there really is no such thing as time. Time is an illusion. Basically what we live is an ongoing experience. It never stops. So the only time is now. Every time you look up, it's now. And they're even the future and the past are they're not illusions, but they don't exist. You only exist in the now. And so uh, time is something that we create. Like the word time means to cut or to divide. So when you're living an ongoing experience, basically time is how we, what humans created to reference
Right.
these. It's basically to cut into pieces this ongoing flow of energy, flux of energy that we are in. So, flux means the flow, the inflow and outflow of energy or water, basically, if you look up the definition. So, as we are flowing in and out, and that's what we do is, our energy is in, out and inflow of energy. As we're flowing through this experience, this time is a way that we are able to reference the moments that we live. And even moments, the word moment comes from momentum or motion. So you're never like stopping. We're always in constant flux. Time is just a way that we're able to reference this so that we can put some type of understanding to it, to why we were manifested here and learn, and learn the lessons that we need to learn. Because then, we would just constantly just be moving and moving and not able to stop and take in what we've experienced. So time is just basically, man is created to basically break down the, the constant experience that we always live in.
Kev, before we get into Trump and Tesla, in terms of time, and you saying we live in a continuous now, one of the topics of discussion that people are noticing is that time is speeding up. It's just continuing to speed up. And today it's interesting because we're doing the show, and today I had to pick up my son from school, and I sat on the edge of my bed. My lady was in the bed. I sat on the edge of my bed. I said, I'm gonna sit for 2 minutes. I sat there, and what I thought was 2 minutes was 20 minutes. And I said, and like 20 minutes was like Kevin, like it's impossible, like for 20 minutes to go by as fast as it's going by now. It's 20 minutes is literally like 5 minutes.
Right.
Literally 20 minutes in 1995 is 5 minutes in 2024. So it's like,
right.
Kev, what happens when time keeps speeding up? What will eventually happen, Kev? Because it looked like it's just continuing to go faster and faster.
Well, again, to me, that's a subjective thing. Like, time will go fast in certain things. Like you can be at work.
Yeah.
And, if you look at the clock, how slow does time go when you at work and you looking at the clock? Yeah. So we can say, time goes fast, but go to work and try to sit there for 8 hours. You can be like, God damn, this day is lasting forever. Or, when you're doing something super fun, you can be in love or doing something super fun and it goes like, they be like, God dang, what did, I wish I had another, week or 2 weeks, a month or whatever it is to do what you were doing. So time is kind of subjective, in that manner, other than, the revolutions that we do around the sun and stuff like that. And then if you're talking about us revolving around the sun faster, then that's something that deals with, new sun cycles and new time, the new energy and time frame that we moved into after like 2020. So we can reference stuff like that. Yeah, that time is what's the word I'm looking for? Time is kind of experienced from the revolutions that we do around the sun. But if you're talking about, so you can reference that type of time, but then also the subjective time of what we experience. So like there was in the 90s, there was a news story that I remember. It was about some miners who were stuck. They were stuck in a mine, and they only had like a couple of hours of air left in the mine and left in the mine. So only one person had a watch on. Like I think it was like a foreman. He had a watch on. So in order to keep the calm, keep everybody calm in the mine, he would tell people. So they would ask him, what time is it or how long we've been in here. And so every time they would ask him, he would tell them like it was 5 minutes less than it actually was. So that they wouldn't, so that they wouldn't panic And when you start panicking, you start breathing harder and use up more air, right? So he didn't want them to start tripping. So he just basically kept the time, just told them, basically like 5 minutes or a few minutes off or whatever it was. So they got rescued, but when they got rescued, uh, everybody lived except the dude keeping time. The dude that actually knew, he had in his mind the actual time, because they knew they had a certain amount of air and he knew how much time that was. So because he was actually focused on it, he ran out of air. But the other miners, they lived because in their mind they still had more air. So time is subjective like that. Now again, moving into new sun cycles, the days are faster. I mean, when you look up, it's like, oh, it's 8 a.m, and then you go in the kitchen and come out the kitchen, it's 8 p.m. So it is it is kind of moving faster like that. Again, what I think, again, after we've been doing this for a long time. We've been talking about time has been moving up. In my and the people where I talk to, we've been talking about that for the last 20 years or so. How time, we just seem like time is moving up. Really, after this great conjunction we just had, was it in 2020 December?
Well, what year was that, Kev? That was that video you did. What was that 21 or 2020?
That was 2020. I did that on
that one right there, Kev. That was my favorite. I know we talk about the eclipse and everything, but that conjunction hit that one hit hard, man. That affected me, man. I love that one.
Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah, I was just channeling, bro. It was just the universe that sent me that information about all this celestial power and energy they had been using for all of this time, and we had no idea. They've been using that energy for every 20 years we have a great conjunction, and they had been using that to push the agenda, whatever they want. The conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, and the two biggest bodies we have. And when you have that conjunction, you can Jupiter is fortune, Saturn is the law, basically how what you put out into the universe. That's it's people like to equate Saturn with karma and stuff like that, but karma is just cause and effect. So whatever you put out into the universe is what you receive. So when we have those great conjunctions, they understand when Saturn and Jupiter come together, the planet of fortune and the planet of karma, or the cause and effect, they put out to the universe the energy they want to come back, which is, controlling people, taking people out, population control, all that type of stuff. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, we need to jump on this and hijack this energy back for ourselves, because we had, obviously, that's what we had been on. That's how we had power in the past. We were attuned with the universe,
right?
We understood that power. These heavenly bodies aren't just shiny little lights up in the sky to look at. These are big balls of energy that are interacting with our electromagnetic fields, our energy. And so if you can understand that and draw power from that, then you can pretty much make whatever you want happen. And we lost that. Well, we didn't lose it. They they perverted it. They kind of took it and perverted it, and to purposely get us off of our game, off of vibration. Because when melanated people, especially, and that's in anybody in the universe, when you're not in tune with the universe, nothing really works for you. But especially melanated people, because we receive so much energy from the universe because of your melanin. When you're not in tune, it's just one chaotic thing after another. But when you start to see, you're able to follow and invoke that energy. So you have to, this is what they do. This is what those rituals are for. The ritual in front of the big owl that they do every July. And they get in front of that owl and they put out into the universe, because what they're doing, was called the cremation of care. And so I don't know if have you ever seen that, the ritual, the full ritual?
Yeah.
So you've seen you heard the words that they use in the ritual?
I seen it a while ago. I don't remember the words. This was a while ago.
Okay, so in the ritual, they're
You talking
talking,
about the Bohemian Grove?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so in the ritual, they have the owls. The owl is supposedly speaking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they're talking back to the owl. And in the in the text of the ritual, they're talking about, we know, because they're talking about care, because they're doing so much foul things in the universe. They're trying to cremate their care, or burn their, because you can't do foul shit without it really messing you up on the inside, right? You can't, at some point, if you are connected to the universe, so at some point in time it's going to start messing with you. So what they do is they sacrifice their cares every single year so that they can do these things. That's what they call the cremation of care. And they say, we know, and they're talking about like running from their karma. This is why when you say, well, how come nothing bad ever happens to these cats? Because they're doing rituals, they're invoking and doing these type of things to stave off that energy from them. So in the cremation of care, they said, we know we can't run from you forever, but with the help of my brothers, we will do it for another year. I'm like, holy shit, they're running from their karma every year. And they have to do that. So, it was time for us to take back that type of energy and, use it for benevolent purposes. And that's what you saw, that's what you saw in that video.
Yeah, man. Let's get to Trump. Why does his name? I didn't hear any other president name when it comes to time traveling. Why does Trump's name specifically comes up when it comes to time traveling abilities, Kev?
Because of his, well, so there was this book right here.
Let me see. Okay, yeah. The Baron Trump Novels, 3-book collection.
Yeah. So the first book, though, that was written in 1800 was Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. So that's this right here. So it shows that book down there. So he wrote 3 of these books. And so this cat who wrote it was his Ingersoll. Can y'all see that? Ingersoll Lockwood.
Mm-hmm.
So the cat who wrote it in the book. So this little kid, Baron Trump, he meets a like a tycoon, a tycoon, a dude who lives on Park Avenue, whose name is Don. Whose name is Don. And they travel to the future, and Don becomes president in the future, right? So in the book, they're like, okay, this is some crazy stuff. So if you understand, Baron is Donald's son. That's the name of Don's son right now, Baron Trump. And so in the book, there's so many similarities to Trump, to this Trump. It's like, dude, how the hell did he get Trump down so cold, right? And so this is why, this is one of the reasons that his name is tied to it. But then so that would just kind of be coincidental. If you could kind of mark that up. That's kind of coincidence. But then when you look into it further and you start to look up Tesla, which is really how you're going to get into time travel and everything that Tesla was studying, from vibration and frequency to free energy, or what they called radiant energy. So you can call it either one, just the massive free energy that's around that you can tap into. If you're able to tap into that energy, you can pretty much do anything. So when Tesla died, just so happens that Donald Trump's uncle, what's his name? Donald Trump's uncle's name is hold on, let me find it. It's George. I think it's like George. Donald Trump's uncle. Yeah, John George Trump. So Donald Trump's uncle, who was a professor at MIT, the feds asked him to go in and look at Tesla's work. So Tesla supposedly had like 80 trunks of his works in the hotel where he died. So they asked John Trump to go in there, because he's a physicist and an MIT physicist professor, to go in there and check it out and see if any of the things that he left were, had any viability. Could we use these things? Was he on the right track? What can we use from it? So he goes down to the hotel to check it out, and he tells them, so remember, there's supposed to be 80 trunks in there. Supposedly they thought Tesla had, and he goes and tells them, oh no, there wasn't 80 trunks. There was only 35. Now, again, you can look this story. This is a main story. This is you could Google this. This is not like some conspiracy theory. This is like a main. This story was like in a bunch of main newspapers and magazines. And so this is the reason that they think Trump might be a time traveler, because Trump's uncle received all of Nikola Tesla's work, and he kept over half of, supposedly, allegedly, let's say we got to do allegedly, he kept over half of the work that Tesla was doing. And so then, you come up and you see how in the hell is a person like Donald Trump able to be president? You're like, how in the hell would this dude become president? And you look at old clips of Trump, and like on Oprah, and when Oprah was asking him if he was going to run for president and stuff like that, he was like, I don't know, but I do. If I ran, I think I'd win. I think I'd win. He was like, see, he had such a confident look on his face. He was like, if I ran though, I think I'd win. Because boom, 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 he started running off the reasons he thought he'd win. And he was like, that's pretty confident for a dude who opens hotels, right? But then again, you get back into his family's story, and then you start to see. And then the funny thing is, have you ever seen Back to the Future Part 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? You remember?
No, I do not remember. No.
Oh, come on, Rich. That's a great movie, brother.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future Part 2 had this character called Biff. So Biff in the original Back to the Future was the dude who punked. So Marty McFly was the dude who went Back to the Future. That was Michael J. Fox. And Marty McFly's dad used to get punked by this cat named Biff. So in Part 2, in Back to the Future Part 2, Biff had found out that Marty McFly had a time machine. And so Biff had stowed away when Marty McFly went back in time. He stowed away in the time machine. Biff did. So Biff had an almanac. He had a sports almanac from the future that he took back with him. And he went and looked up his younger self in the past, and he gave him the sports almanac and said, yo, if you bet on these events, we'll be rich. Like, you're going to be rich in the future. So, then he gave it to him or whatever. He jumps back. He goes back and stows back away in the time machine. When Marty McFly goes back to the future, the whole future he came from is changed because Biff took that almanac and became a billionaire. Now, in the future, if you look at Biff is supposed to be Donald Trump. They said Biff was modeled off of, this is Robert Zemeckis, the dude who did the film. He said Biff was modeled off of Donald Trump. So, and he actually looks like Donald Trump in the movie. So it's just weird that all of this time travel stuff is connected to Donald Trump. And nobody really knows. Like, nobody was really piecing this stuff together. But what made me think about it was when they tried to take him out on the when he was on the podium, and they tried to take him out. And if you look at everything that they show, he moved his head at the very second. It was like he had to know. It's like, did he know? Like, come on, dude, did he have to know? That's when I started thinking, dude, some of this stuff has to be real, because there's no, how the hell do you move your head at the very last second? The bullet whizzes by here, because if he doesn't move, it goes right through his. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made me really jump on it and get into this book and all that stuff.
Very, very interesting. Wow. Yeah, I didn't. I've heard bits and pieces of what you just broke down, but not like thoroughly how you just broke it down. Wow, man. That yeah, that is that's very interesting. You know,
They
what? Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
no, so I'm just talking about how the government though they've been supposedly they've had time travel since the 40s. They've been hiding time travel since the 40s with they had the Manhattan Project, excuse me, the Philadelphia Project,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people, I don't know if people know about that, but that's when they had a couple of generators that were built by Tesla and they put them on a boat. They were trying to create an electromagnetic field around the boat that would hide it on radar. And so when they turned the generators on, the generators were so powerful that the electromagnetic field, well, it did a couple of things. They said that the electromagnetic field that the generators created was so powerful that when they turned it off, some of the crewmen were like infused with the boat. Like they were like some people were half in the in the floor, and the upper half was in the floor and the bottom half was through the floor. Like they were like infused with the boat, like their molecules had come somehow blended from the generator. And then there's these two cats, Al Bielik, and I forgot his first name, but the last name was Duncan. And they were supposedly when the generator, so they were supposed to be the cats who would turn the generator on. And so when they came up above ground, because they was down on the hull of the ship. So when they came up above ground, they saw all this shit going on, and they got scared and they jumped over the boat when
Mm.
it was happening. And they
Mm-hmm.
supposedly went from the 40s into like they landed into the 80s. Now this is Al Bielik and Duncan. They were saying all this stuff, and they used to go on Art Bell. You remember Art Bell?
Yeah, yeah.
So he used to go on Art Bell all the time and talk about this stuff. And then when they got to the future, the 80s, there were people there waiting. The military was there waiting on them, saying, "Look, you opened a hole in time. You need to go back. Y'all got to go back and fix the hole that y'all create, or it's about to fuck up everything. So mess up everything." So they sent them back. Supposedly they smashed the generators on the ship, and then that killed the electromagnetic field. And so you got all of this that came from it. And
Mm.
then they had so they basically after they came out, and these cats tried to tell their story. They called them crazy. They had them
Mm-hmm.
committed to insane asylums and all that type of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
they never wavered from the story. The story stayed the same the whole time that them cats was alive. Never changed. And so then, like from that, they built something called like you ever heard of the Montauk Project?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So they built the Montauk Project, where they were supposedly taking kids and getting them, so basically putting them on machines and putting on like some type of electromagnetic skull cap or whatever that would enhance their, you know, their vibration, their mental thoughts and stuff like that, and they would be able to travel through the future. That was one of them, but they would be able to remote view and do all this type of stuff. Now, a lot of people don't know that. You ever watch Stranger Things?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Stranger Things is that.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger
Yes.
Things is the Montauk Project
Mm-hmm.
that the writer said that's what inspired them to write Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
So they were taking kids and using them. Now there was supposed to be another project called the Pegasus, Pegasus Project. Now this dude, I think his name is Andrew Bajago. I think, but you spell it like Baziago. Um, and this dude was talking about how there's something called chrononauts, that the government has chrononauts. These are like astronauts, but for time. Like they flow through time to test it and see what goes on. And so he said he was involved when he was a kid. His father had him, who was in the military, uh, or part of the government. I forgot which one, but he had him in this project, and they were testing time travel, and they were going time to like different to different or different parts in time where the government existed, and they would give them information to help the government flourish and move on. So like they said, he traveled in time to the Civil War to give them information on how the Union on how to win. So they would they gave them, he had some type of scroll type of thing that he took back with him, and he was supposed to hand that to the Union. What is it? I forgot the name of the soldiers, what they call them, but the Union soldiers, and so they could win. Now this dude, Andrew Bajago, he's been telling the same story for like 20-30 years also. Never never wavered, never anything. And he said it was a bunch of kids, like 100 and something kids in this program. And one of the people, now this is allegedly, we don't know, one of the people in the project was Barack Obama. He was one of the kids who was in this Pegasus project. And basically they were saying that most of the people who are presidents, they know they're going to be presidents. They bring them to a certain place and tell them you're going to be the next president based off of their time travel or whatever. So again, we don't know, but this dude, if you look up Andrew Bajago, he's a lawyer. So dude he's very smart. I mean, super articulate, never wavers. Whenever you hear him talk about this, he never stutters. He never looks like he's making stuff up, searching to find stuff to make. He says this like boom, like it's like he like he just lived it yesterday. So the government has been dealing with and he also said the way they did it was they had like some Tesla coils. They had like 2 Tesla coils or something on like 10 feet away from each other, and they were like super high powered. And so they would, whatever the power was that was in them, they would come together in the middle and create this distortion in the middle that looked like, it looked like some type of shimmering, what did he call, like some type of water shimmering, but it wasn't water. It was just like this, the air was distorted, and they had to jump through that. And that's how they would time travel. So again, the government's been doing this forever. Now again, we don't have to prove that that's true. However, there's so much information with the government, because they're never going to come out and tell you, yeah, we know how to time travel. But there's so much evidence for it that it's just hard to believe that they don't have it.
Right. Yeah, man. Wow, this is some very interesting topic. Let me ask you this, Kev. Do you think that there is a such thing as time travel police, and these people are, if you get caught time traveling,
You mean like Jean-Claude Van Damme?
They're gonna send your
Time Cop?
They're gonna send your ass back because they need everybody to stay on the same timeline, so it won't get too chaotic.
You talking about the TVA?
Yeah. So is there time traveling police? Do you think that, Kev?
That's hilarious. You been watching Loki?
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
So yeah, Loki is funny. Yeah, Loki with the time variance authority. And then the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Time Cop, which is I think because the TVA I think came first in the comics, and I think there was Time Cop was like a variation of that. But I don't think they have because in order for you to have time cops, now I think there's people who watch over it and who watch over the program and stuff like that, but I don't think they have people who go through time to find people who may be messing up with the timeline, because the governments themselves are fucking up the timeline. They're messing up the timeline. They're going back in time and they're tweaking this and doing that. So who's the time cop on them? So and also would think that for them to be able to do that, just the more average person would have to have access to time travel. And for that to happen, you have to have massive amounts of power. So like Bob Lazar, back 20 something years ago, people who know Bob Lazar, he's the reason that about Area 51 and S4, and it's called S4, which is where they really had a lot of the alien ships. So he was talking about they had the 47 crash was a lot of people thought it was Area 51, but they had it in S4. This is where he did a lot of his experiments on these alien crafts that crashed. And what they found in the ships was something called was it element 116. And this is he talked about this 26 years ago. Excuse me, early 90s. He was doing this. And it just came out a couple of years ago that they found element 116. They can only create it for like a millisecond. So basically, it's antimatter is what that element is supposed to be. And he said how the alien ships traveled was they had a certain reactor where they would put this element 116 into the reactor, and whatever happened in the reactor, they would hit it. So when matter and antimatter come together, it creates a giant explosion, a massive amount of power at once. And so how they would use that power, he said they had some type of on the front of the ship, they had some type of like something that it would direct the energy in front of them. So when that explosion happened, it would direct the energy in front of them and distort the air around them. And so how they would travel through time is because a lot of people think you have to travel faster than the speed of light, which it would be hard for mass to do that. Like just going from speeding from point A to point B, you would just traveling that fast, you would become the G forces would make you you would explode and make you a splatter on the seat. So how they do it is they bend time, they bend space and time, because everything is frequency and vibration. So with enough frequency and vibration, you can bend point A to point B. You can fold it over. So like you had a piece of paper and you wrote point A and point B, you take those 2 points and fold them together and then reposition yourself in point B, and then now you're there in a millisecond like that, where you don't have to travel at the speed of light. And so that's how time travel. Now, Bob Lazar explained that like 20 something years ago. And anytime you hear people talk about, and these are scientists talk about time travel, that's the way they explain how it's possible, is in order to bend and fold time. You don't travel at the speed of light, you bend and fold time. And then reposition yourself. And also the dude, Andrew Bajagio, he talked about that's what they would do. He said they have some type of the government is able to, with electricity, they are able to create such an electrical field that they're able to distort time and reposition you from point A to point F, point D, whatever they want it. And so that's how he explained it. I was like, oh snap, that's the same way Bob Lazar broke it down. So that is the way time travel is possible. And even Einstein, in his theory of relativity, he breaks down how time travel is possible, but you have to have the amount of power to be able to do it. And Tesla found that power, free energy, or what he called radiant energy. And he's not the only one who found it.
They said he basically, I don't want to discredit any. He's a genius. They said he took a lot of his information from ancient Kemet.
He did,
with the Tesla coil and the Ankh and all of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. he definitely did. Like even, you ever heard of that dude? What is it? Maxwell Chikumbutsu.
No, who's that?
So Maxwell Chikumbutsu, this is a dude now.
Yeah.
He's an African Zimbabwe, I think. He's from Zimbabwe, but he's a brother who created a free energy device. And it's like a little small box that captures the radio waves or whatever, and is able to turn on anything. His 2 main videos that got him super famous was he had a TV that was running, I think, what was it, Bad Boys or something on the TV, and then he turned the TV around, and there's no cord on the TV.
He heard about that, right?
He has a little box that he had on the back of the TV that was powering the TV. Now he also he's powered a helicopter and a car, and he said he has no electrical training, nothing, no formal training. He said he was asleep, and God brought this to him in his dream, and he woke up and he created this thing. And I'm like, this because we've done this before. Melanated people, it's in your DNA.
Right.
We've done this in the past many, many times. So he was remembering, what he had done in the past. And apparently there's been a lot of attempts on his life, because if you come and bring free energy to the world now, what industries are you destroying? Main one.
All of them.
Pretty much all of them, but especially oil. You're destroying a multi-trillion-dollar a year industry. So they, a lot of cats, they said they tried to take him out. They poisoned his cousin. So, but that free energy, it's not, wasn't exclusive to Tesla. Everybody, he said I say he rediscovered it. That's I just say he rediscovered it. It's it was a part of ancient Kemet for a long time. That's where chemistry comes from. Chem, the darkness, basically the manipulation of the electron of carbon.
Right.
And so when you can do that, you can pretty much change anything within the physical realm.
Yeah, you got a whole book on dark matter, Kev. You got that that you got it in front of you? That big book you got on dark matter.
I got 50 million books in there. Which one? Which one you talking about?
That it costs like 200 or something like that. Oh, okay. How you don't remember?
Man, I got a bunch.
They got all the references and about the meetings that happened about melanin and.
Oh, you mean the Great Book of Melanin Research?
Great Book of Melanin Research.
Oh, the Great Book of you talking about this joint?
Yeah.
Oh, this.
Yeah, it's right in front of you. Come on, man. How you feel? Oh man.
Well, I didn't know what you was talking about. Yeah, this joint.
So, do you think how important? With that being said, and I brought that up, we're talking about time traveling. We're talking about ancient Kemet. We're talking about Tesla. Talking about Trump. Hitler's name even comes up a lot with time traveling. How important is the topic of melanin or dark matter when we're talking about time traveling? Is that a very important thing that goes hand in hand with time traveling? Okay.
Not that I know. Well, in the book, they're just basically explaining that dark matter is melanin. So going back to the Germans and stuff like that. So this is how you got into Project Montauk and all that type of stuff, because you heard of Operation Paperclip?
Yeah.
So that's when America brought over a bunch of German scientists after the war.
Phil was just talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in order to, for them to get asylum over here, they had to give up all of the projects that the Germans was working on over in Germany. And this is some of the stuff that they were working on was this stuff: mind control, time travel, mind projection, all of this stuff. And so those programs were then transferred over to the US. And so, like I said, this is where you get, they were doing these experiments. This is where you get the Montauk Project and all the rest of this stuff. MK Ultra was also part of that Operation Paperclip. And, but as far as dark matter, so like in this book, what they're explaining, they talking about, there's a brother, what is it, African? I think he's from Sudan, a Sudanese scientist that they have in there. And when they're talking about dark matter in space, they're saying, now these are the scientists. Again, I ain't been out in space to check it, but in the book, they're saying that the dark matter in space is melanin, and it's the same melanin that's in the scientists. And they have a picture of the scientists and a picture of space next to each other, and they're saying that's the same. Those are the same things. Now, as far as dark matter with time travel, I don't think that's necessary. I just think you need enough energy to distort the space-time continuum.
Right.
Just distort space. And again, distorting space, people are like, well, how do you do that? Well, you see that? You see space distorted every time you look, you take a match or a lighter and then let the flame go, and then look through the flame. Like, if you look through the air, that the flame is above, that the flame is under.
Right.
You ever see that? And anybody who started a barbecue, when that flame go, you see the air
Mm-hmm.
kind of wavy like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
distortion. This is the distortion of the molecules in the air, where the light has to bend around and bend around all of that heat. So kind of the same principle. You can distort it, or if you can distort space, that you can pretty much do a lot of things. And if you have enough energy to do it, that's the thing that they keep talking about. You have to have enough power to be able to do it. And so on Tesla's end, it was tapping into the free energy, or what do you call it? So again, I call it free energy. He said it was free energy back then, but apparently today they're calling it radiant energy. But tapping into that field, and and just drawing from that, because he was like, basically, there's enough. He used to say there's enough energy within this cubic space right here between my fingers to light the world for a year.
That's
If
amazing.
if you were able to tap into it, so
That is amazing.
it's all about the energy.
That's how. That's how significant what we call empty space is, huh, Kev? 'Cause
Exactly.
we usually if we have a room, like if we're looking in your room right now in the camera, we're looking at all the objects in a room, but really does somebody say, Kev, wow, that's such a beautiful amount of empty space in your room, Kev. Oh wow, Kev, that's beautiful. You could tap into all that chi. We
Right.
don't look at the empty space, we look at the things that's within the room. So yeah,
Exactly.
that is
And people don't, you don't understand the type of, I mean, everything is energy and it's everywhere. There's nothing in the universe that's not energy and vibration. And you are connected to all of that. And if you can tap into that connection, if you can tap into the underlying frequency and vibration of that, then you can channel it. And so that's what Tesla would do. Like, dealing with vibration. He had like he had some type of vibration machine, that, because he understood, he was like, if you understand the secrets of frequency and vibration, and also he said you can understand the secrets of 3, 6, and 9, then you understand the secrets of the universe. This is Tesla saying this. So he had a machine that he could, some type of little machine that he had that could vibrate. It was like a little box that he had. And apparently one time he went to a building to test it out, and he put the little box on the building, and it reached the resonant frequency of the building, and it almost tore the building down. He had to he had to take it off.
I heard about that, man.
He,
Wow.
he had to rip the machine off the building. So again, man,
Yeah.
if we have gotten so far away from the understanding of what we had of energy, frequency, and vibration. Once we're able to tap back into that, then there are no more secrets within the universe for us. But if we're not on our game, if they get us worried about all the bullcrap that they got going on in the world, and keep us from that, and that's spookism, that doesn't mean anything, and that's conspiracy theory, and that's the tinfoil hat people, and and they get us all into that, where you don't want to look weird because you're trying to dive back into your ancient science, then you'll never be connected to it again. But that's the only true way for us to get back to what we used to have.
Indeed. Hey, Kev, let me ask you this, Kev. Would you consider music time travel technology?
Yep, absolutely. Anytime, because again, you have what you call physical time travel, and then you can have consciousness time travel. And that's what the Montauk project was more about. So you had the two different projects, Montauk and Pegasus project. So the Montauk project was more about mental mind travel. So them being able to send you back into time traveling through your mind with enough power. That's why they would put whatever that was. They would attach the kids to whatever that machine was, and kind of enhance their vibration, their frequency, and try to mentally send them back through these things. And then you had Pegasus project that was actually physically sending people through. Again, I think if you go look at the movie Time Cop is probably close. Time Cop or what's the movie with with Kurt Russell with the when he went back and saw the pyramids.
Oh man, I
Come
know
on,
what
man.
you're talking about too.
Come on, bro, Rich.
What's,
Give me the
what's
movie.
that? What's that movie, y'all?
What's the movie? Stargate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stargate. Thank you. So Stargate. They were saying that it looks like that.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of more what it looks like when you're dealing with time travel.
Uh-huh.
But when you're dealing with music, instantly when you hear a song from 20 years ago, how fast are you transported back to when instantly? I mean, boom! It's like it never you never left it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's me because I only keep it on the old school hip hop channel. So I live in the past all the time. But absolutely, it can definitely transport you. Now, transport you to the future. Now, you would have to have something. For me, I think that's completely off from your vibration. A person who could transport you to the future. You ever heard of Sun Ra?
Yeah.
Sun Ra. Sun Ra's music. If anybody out there, you never heard of Sun Ra, do yourself a favor and go look up Sun Ra. Sun Ra was Sun Ra was out there, and he'd get on top of the roof with his band, and they'd be dressed up like aliens and and all they space gear, and they get to playing this music. You be like, what in the heck is it had to be some type of futuristic crazy. I mean, so absolutely, I think you definitely can be transported by music.
Is daydreaming time traveling? Because I know they try to stop the children immediately from daydreaming. They say, hey, wake up. What are you doing? Stop daydreaming. So is that a form of time traveling that they try to lock us down on early on in life to prevent us from even tapping into that?
I think you can daydream. I mean, time travel when you daydream. Sometimes it's about things that you've been through. You know, it's about working out things that you need to do, and things that you've not come to grips with. You have confronted things that you need to confront in your life. So I think dreams can be about a whole lot of different things. Absolutely, they can transport you. I've been transported in my dreams, and absolutely have thought I was there. I mean, you could not tell me I wasn't there. Matter of fact, I've acted out things and gotten hurt in my sleep because I thought in my sleep I was actually there doing these things. So again, yeah, I think dreams can transport you, but I guess it would depend on your consciousness and what you're trying to do and what you need to do.
No, definitely. We're gonna get to some questions in a second, family. We about to pass the hour mark, so I want to get some questions from the family. King Simon is sharing some of my brother Kev's links in the chat. He got a Cash App, a Venmo, his website, as well as his YouTube channel. And let me put your Cash App up on the screen. Well, it's up there now, so I ain't got to put it up there. It's right on the screen. Yeah, it's in the chat and on the screen. $ REELNAGAS9. So if you want to support the brother, you can hit him up on there. Venmo is also on the screen. Shout out to King Simon. You got to get on King Simon's show as well, man. He deal with the numerology, Kev.
Oh, that's what's up. Oh yeah, hey, right up my wheelhouse. That's what I'm talking about. Have you seen how much have you seen of Loki? Bro, Rich?
I just seen about 2 episodes.
That's it.
Yeah, I haven't. I got a lot of catching up to do with it. You know what? The last thing I'm gonna tell you, the only thing I probably watched on TV this whole year, Kev, was Supercell. Besides sports, I watched
basketball. Yeah, that was crazy.
So I watched basketball or boxing, but besides that, the only thing I've seen was Supercell. That's it.
Supercell was crazy.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
The dude in there was dealing with time travel.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, the brother. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The main character.
And since we brought that up, let me ask you this, Kev. Would you consider since the dude in the movie, we saying he dealt with time traveling, would you say somebody like Floyd Mayweather has time traveling abilities? Because how the hell?
Like, where you getting Floyd?
Yeah, I'm tying all this shit together. I'm tying all
Where
this shit.
you get Floyd from?
How the hell does Floyd move? How does he see the punch the way he sees it? How does he move the way he moves? 99% of humans can't move like that or dodge a punch like that.
Well, to me,
It's
there's other things
impeccable.
involved. There's other
Yeah,
things
okay.
involved. First of all, Floyd is a water sign.
Yeah.
He's a Pisces, so he moves very fluidly, like water. Most people who you see who are water signs and are athletes, they're very agile. They move very fluidly. But as far as boxing, the way you say, how does he see those? It's more that he's trained so much that he understands position of your body and how you throw a punch. So he actually gives and Floyd is my favorite boxer of all time. You know, I've been boxing since I was 10. And so Floyd is my favorite boxer. And he, in some of his videos, he'll show you about body angling. And so he's like, all right, from this angle, you can only throw this punch. From that angle, you can only throw that punch. If I see your body move like this, I'm going to cheat my body up to that shoulder, so then you can't throw that punch. I mean, Floyd is a scientist. Like, you make people look at Floyd and be like, oh, you're the dumbest nigga. No. No, in the ring, Floyd is a genius. He is an absolute genius, and he just understands about body mechanics and how you throw a punch and the position your body has to be in to get the most power out of that punch. And so again, he's been boxing since he was 4. So if you've been doing something since you were 4 years old, it's pretty much just second nature to you. So yeah, Floyd's not necessarily a time traveler. He's just it's like Kobe shooting 1,000, doing one move 1,000 times. So that's the way Kobe would go in. He literally practiced one move 1,000 times. That's not even an exaggeration. And so Floyd to me is kind of the same way. He's been boxing so long. And if you find that video where he's teaching the reporter, there's a reporter who tries to get into the ring with him, and he's showing the reporter how he can cut off a person's punch, and then, by just angling his body, cheating up his body. He doesn't even have to use any energy. He can just move and angle his body to where a person can't even get a punch off. So that's more what it is to me, necessarily, than time traveling.
We talked about Trump earlier, and Trump has this ability to just say he knows how to lie. He lies, and he seems like he believes the shit. He'll say the most outlandish shit, and you look at his face, and he looks like he believes it.
That's the best liars.
Now that within itself, Kev, because they often connect time traveling, Kev, to parallel realities. And the way you tap into a parallel reality or merge a parallel reality with this reality is you have to, I guess they say, feel that reality. You have to become one with that reality. So with that being said, is lying, do you think the more spiritual you become, do you think you look at lies in a different way? I've heard you got to fake it till you make it as a spiritual thing. I've heard, I just heard, lies can be ways to predict it, to predict things happening in the future. In fact, they say be careful how you lie, because if you say, "Oh, I can't come to work today, I'm sick," the nigga you just might get sick.
Yeah, exactly.
So you even got to be careful about how you lie.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the spirituality behind what we call lies in this realm, Kev.
Well, again, putting things out into the universe, when you speak it. So the word, so this is what I was about to get into, destiny and fate and all. You ever see a movie called Mr. Destiny?
No, didn't see that one either. No.
So that's an older movie from I think maybe the 80s.
Okay.
It's called Mr. Destiny. And this dude, he has a pretty okay life. He's happy with his wife and all that type of stuff. And but he's not happy with his work life. He doesn't make a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
and nothing like that. But he has a great wife who loves him and all that. So, but he doesn't feel like his life is ended up where it should be. And it all goes back to a baseball game that he had where he struck out, and he felt that if he had hit the ball, he had hit a home run during that game, that his whole life would be different. And so he meets a dude from on his way home from work. His car breaks down, and in a bar he meets a dude, and this dude is Mr. Destiny, and he tells the dude his story that he felt that he wished he had hit the ball or whatever. So Mr. Destiny kind of puts him on the path. Like, he gets back out and he hits the ball. Like, in his past, he goes back and he hits the ball, and then when he comes out of, so as he's telling the story, Mr. Destiny makes him like, they go and they show you the physical game. And so in the game, he doesn't miss the ball. He hits the ball as he's telling the story to the guy in the bar. And so when he leaves the bar, Mr. Destiny has kind of changed his life. He goes home. He doesn't live at the same place anymore, this and that. So he's tripping out. He goes back to the bar to figure out what happened. Mr. Destiny kind of tells him, he's like, look, your life is like, it's on a path like this. He said, but then when you make another decision, so it's like he showed like a bunch of stars going in one direction. And he said, but when you make a certain decision, you now are off into this path. But that path still exists that you were about to be on. And so destiny goes back to, or the etymology of destiny goes back to fate. And so the word fate means that which you speak. So literally, your destiny or your fate is that which you speak into the universe. This is why that term "speak it into existence" is so powerful, because you actually do speak things into existence. That is literally what the word destiny and fate means. So when you say about lying, when you talk about lying and putting things out there into the universe, so now there's things about one person's about perception, and one person's lie is not this or that, but there's telling an untruth or a non-fact. And so when you do that, these things add up. Certain actions have a natural progression based off of the energy that's being put out into the universe. So when you lie and you say that, when you lie about these actions or whatever, and you're kind of throwing that path off, and you have no idea what's going to happen and come from that path. So like I had a dude who, it was funny, his philosophy was, and he was on some spiritual stuff, he was like, I don't lie to people, but what he does is, if if he can tell you something, if he can just say something and use as little words as possible and allow your mind to do the rest, then it's not necessarily lying. And so he would, it'd be stuff like that where he would be like,
I think they call that lies of omission.
Well, you don't lies of omission. You're not really lying. Lying is telling an untruth or a non-fact. If you omit something, you're not lying. The other person is not doing their diligence in the thing that they need to do to find out the full information. So as somebody who's looking for information, who's seeking information, you have a duty to search and figure out that information to its fullest. And if you allow somebody to tell you something without doing any investigation, then usually that universe will put that on you, not on the other person. And so, when you talk about lies of that nature, telling an untruth and putting things out into the universe, that stuff will definitely come back. That's literally karma, cause and effect. You're putting things out into the universe that's eventually going to catch up with you. And whatever you gain from the lie at that point in time, you have to pay that back into the energy. So you have to pay that energy back to the universe at another point in time. So you never really gain from lying because the universe will always balance itself out. And so whatever you think you got away with right now, you won't. Some crazy stuff will happen to you, 3 months, 4 months down the line. You have no idea why it happened. You be like, man, I ain't even doing nothing. Well, that's because you if you went back about 3 months, even a year, 2 years, sometimes it takes a while for it to catch up with you. But it's always something that you put out into the universe. So lies are are something is an advantage that you're extracting from the universe that eventually that you have to pay back. But when you are talking to somebody and you say, and you just saying something or you're alluding to something, but you're not actually saying that, and then the other person takes that and they move on with it, then the universe, it's not necessarily negative energy that you're putting out to the universe, because the other person has a duty to figure out or to do investigation on the information that they want to find out.
Hey, let me show you something real quick, Kev. I got 2 super chat questions. I'm gonna get to that, and then we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna show love to the people who did the super chat, but let me show you something real quick, Kev. Hold up.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna ask you: have you seen another movie, the one
with Jet Li?
Jet Li?
Yeah, seen that one. Yeah.
Okay, so
right.
that dealt with the multiverse too. Well, we'll talk about it in a second. What?
All right, so Kev, so let me just read this right here. This is from a gentleman named Robert Edward Grant. I'm actually going to have him on my show before the end of the month. Real intelligent dude right here, real intelligent. He put up this post on Instagram. The spherical nature of audible sound, according to acoustics physics researcher John Stuart Reed, all sounds that humans hear are spherical in nature. He teaches that the term sound wave gives a false impression that sound wiggles its way through the air, when in fact all audible sounds propagate spherically, which he terms sound bubbles. The leading edge of the bubble oscillates radially, and it is this expansion and contraction of the bubble that is sound. So what's interesting, they said all audible sounds propagate spherically. Now, I did I'm a musician, so I'm used to seeing the waves, the like the sine waves, like the S,
right?
The S turn horizontally or whatever.
Right.
Now, I did a show. It might have been with Blue Pill, but it was called Words Are Worlds. I forget who it was. But when I look at this, Kev, when I look at a visual representation of what we were talking about, now if they say all audible sounds are spherical in nature, then your words, like you was talking about lying or whatever, you got worlds coming out your motherfucking mouth, bro.
Yes.
We can't see it.
Universes.
Universes. Just like they talk about the earth being round. Nigga, we got this shit coming out of mouth constantly.
Yes, you are God.
Amazing.
You are gods. You are gods creating constantly with your thoughts, with your words, with your actions, which is why you're supposed to be very calculated in those movements, in the things you say, in the the things you do, the things you speak, the word, your actions. Just like I liken it to mimicking the sun. The sun moves 1 degree a day.
Yes,
it moves 1 degree a day, and it does everything it needs to do in moving that 1 degree. And if it's as above, so below, and we are, miniature suns, then we should be mimicking that movement. Calculate your movements, do whatever you need to do within a small area in space. Don't put out any unnecessary energy into the universe that you can't control, that you can't, wrangle in, because once it gets away, it's going to come back. And you want to make sure that whatever you put out into the universe is something that you want to come back on you, and not something that you just forgot about, and then you driving down the street and somebody T-bone your ass, because boom, that's some energy, some karmic energy that you had out to the universe, and you have to pay that back. So you're absolutely right. You create universes when you speak. Again, destiny or fate, that which you speak. Literally, and people don't understand that which you speak is what you bring into your life, is your fate or your destiny.
Oh yeah, that was a powerful one, y'all. That was a game changer. Just me seeing that, that image right there.
I'm sure it would.
I was like, whoa. I did this thing earlier last year, Kev, where Blue Pill. I know somebody on here tonight seen the show where Blue Pill mic wasn't working. and it wasn't working for like the first 5 minutes in the show.
Mhm.
So I said, yo, I'm gonna do some magic, y'all. I said, I'm a let me write down. I said, let me write down because Blue calls himself the 44 god. So I said, let me write down 44, and I'm gonna draw a circle around it. So when I drew the circle, I kept drawing the circle. I kept going over and over, and I said I could do magic. And I swear, like a millisecond, that shit came on. We was like, yo, I'm bugging out. I'm like, yo, I told y'all. But if that
Dog.
circle, I think that circle, me putting my attention in that circle, really did something to whatever, whatever was going on, man. But that circle, they do that. I think I think it's Chaldean magic. What system uses the circle a lot, y'all, when it comes to magic? Is it Chaldean? Some system. Seven talks about it, I think. I think Seven talk. Let me know, family, if you know. But yeah, Kev, man, there's some interesting stuff, man.
And yeah, when you were talking about because you need to watch at least the first season. You need to at least watch the first season of Loki.
Of Loki.
Yeah, because they're trying to deal, they deal with the timelines, and different, different universes, but basically how you're living out different experiences just in different, in different universes. The same you. And again, if you go back to that movie, the one with Jet Li, which is off the chain. If you haven't seen that, like I don't know about sometimes the story gets a little wonky, but the story about the yin and yang of who Jet Li is, because that one evil him that's trying to become the only one throughout the multiverse, and he's basically, sorry, spoiler alert, y'all. But he's taken out all of the other hymns in the other universes because he gets the energy every time he takes out one of his doppelgangers, or his clones, or not even a clone, but his other being in another universe, that he gets that energy until he gets down to just two, and then it becomes a good him and an evil him, and they begin, or the yin and yang, basically, because Jet Li he's a Buddhist and all that stuff, so he deals with the yin and yang and that type of stuff. So it's dope of how that plays out. But as far as the timeline, and as far as Loki, them, you having a different aspect of you based off of a decision you made. So like, say if you, and it's basically like these real pivotal points that happen within your life. Not like if you decided to go to the bathroom or not, but if there's a major, and it could be that's kind of what the butterfly effect is too. Like, small little things that you do extrapolate and create these giant, massive things in the universe. But as far as these certain pivotal points within your life, when you're thinking, should I go to school, or should I go to work, or something like that, or these pivotal points, depending on what decision you make at that point, then you create a whole new path of possibility. And that's kind of, to me, what, like when we're going into dark matter and dark energy. So that's kind of like, well, I like to go into dark energy, which is like this infinite field of possibility, because if everything in the universe is energy and vibration, then where's that energy come from? And as far as the dark energy, it's the pool, that never-ending field of possibility, that pool of possibility that we pull from.
Yeah, that's the quantum field, right?
Yeah. And it's the force. I like to use it as, it's the force. Yeah. And when you focus and when you decide to consciously do something within the universe and form that energy, then you pull from that pool. Then it starts to form within the dark matter, and then it starts to form within matter, because you have the matter that we see is only 5%. Then you have like 20% dark matter, and then the rest is dark energy. The rest of the universe is just dark energy, that infinite field of possibility that we pull from.
Indeed. All right, let's get to some questions from the family in the chat. This is interesting. They said you have to be a positive thinker to dabble with chaos magic. That's an interesting comment. What you think about that, Ken?
You should be. I'm gonna say you have to be. I say you should be. You definitely should be a positive thinker. You know, to deal with that because if you're not, it can get you into some dark. It can get you into some dark stuff. But I would definitely agree with that. You more so than half. You should be.
Mm-hmm. I think in general, magic in general, with if you want to call it that, you know, you don't want to go into anything, any spiritual system with negative intention.
No.
You know, because regardless of the word you use, the universe picks up on that intention. So I just think anything, you know, you shouldn't do it.
It's going to bring it right. It's going to bring it right back around. So
Yeah.
absolutely start off. And again, positive and negative are also extremes. I would
Mhm.
say just go into it. Don't necessarily try to be positive. Go into it in the middle,
Right.
balance and zero effect, and then move how the energy tells you to move.
Indeed. You know, my son said something interesting today, Kev. Before I get to the next question, I just thought about it. It's funny we're talking about the Ankh because I went to this event. Shout out to Ty Sealy. She had an event this last weekend, and I bought an Ankh from one of the vendors. So I bought my son an Ankh. He had an Ankh. He was interested
All
in
right,
the shape and everything.
that's
So
dope.
he keeps telling me that the Ankh gives him magic powers.
It
So
does.
he told me yesterday. He said that the adults can't have the Ankh because they will become a villain with the power that they get. So right now the Ankh is only for the children. I see. He said the Ankh is only for the children right now.
He said you can't touch it, pops.
Yo, he said the adults will become villains.
Get the mitts off.
I said you might be onto something. Could you imagine if
He
these Negroes could tap into the power, that power, Cat?
That's hilarious. He said you can't touch it.
He said the adults will become villains.
Adults will become villains. Hey, I
I
love it. I
said,
love the mind of a kid.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
kids are the best. They are infinite possibilities. That's why they'll try to tap into children. This is why these projects use children
Yeah,
because children don't have limitations on their
right,
imagination,
right. That,
whereas adults do, and they know, and they were also talking about in these projects, in these time travel projects, they would tell them the children to really visualize and think about this and make sure think about it in detail and bam bam bam. And so who has the most imaginative minds out of anybody in the world? That is children.
children, yeah.
Children. And so now you can see why they was using the children, because you tell the children to imagine something, they're gonna they're gonna create a whole universe out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
All
dope
right.
that you
Yeah, no, I was like, wow, you on to something, buddy.
like,
I
give me
said,
that What's that from? Give me that boy. What you talking about?
let's get to this next. I don't. Is this a what is this? Do you understand this, Kevin? Says, is it Sharma Thursday? What's that?
What
What's
up,
good?
conceptual Schwarm? No.
What's that?
What up, conceptual elixirs?
What's that?
Yeah. So after my live streams, I eat chicken shawarma.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I eat chicken shawarma, and
Okay.
that's usually my go-to meal. So
Right, right. Okay, okay, okay.
we talk about the shawarma.
Shout out Conceptual Elixirs. I appreciate the super chat, my brother.
What's up, brother?
Truly do. Let's get to this next super chat. Yeah, somebody else said it too. Kev, I'll send some for you.
What up, Roger Roche?
Oh man, let's get to another super chat. What's up, Kev? Do y'all think the people that are going missing in national parks are stumbling into portals that enable them to time travel?
uh, I wouldn't count it out.
Yeah.
Let's say that I wouldn't count it out. These national parks are super powerful. I don't know. Have you been to Sedona, Rich?
I not yet, man. I gotta go
Oh,
there.
bro, you got to go to Sedona, man.
Oh man.
That place is so powerful, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it has multiple vortex spots, like so where the energy is just so powerful and swirling, dude. It is amazing. And so these are little vortex spots that people go to and they meditate, and just crazy magical things happen within these spots. It's like it's just the most the craziest stuff that you've ever seen that happens at these places. So, and then you have stories of uh, the government sealing off certain places in the national parks, due to finding out that they're very powerful spots, like in the Grand Canyon. Excuse me, the place that you can't go in the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. And there were reports that in Sedona, some of these caves were like portals. They were, now again, I haven't been in one. I've been to Sedona many times, but I haven't haven't found one of the caves. But according to a lot of the books and the Native Americans or the Aboriginals that were talking about the area over there, like their ancestors used to go in these caves and go through portals and wind up in certain other parts of the earth, being able to do that.
Wow.
So I was looking for it. I didn't find it, but apparently that's what the ancestors said.
Yeah, man. Wow. Okay. Let's see. King Simon said he climbed the Bell Rock Mountain. You ever climbed that in
Oh
Sedona?
man. Oh, that's where I used to hold a lot of my meditations. I did a super meditation with a pyramid up there one time. Like, yeah, it was like 10 people. We bought a pyramid up there. We did a massive meditation. It was off the chain.
Let me ask you this, Kev. Which place do you think holds more powerful energy, Sedona or Mount Shasta? Because you over there on the West Coast.
Oh man. I'm gonna say Sedona.
Okay.
Because Sedona has so many different spots that you can go to. And so there are trails, there are trails that they have you follow in Sedona. But if you go off trail, so this is what we did. We went we took like a bunch of people each time I went. And so we just veered off trail, and this is where we found the most amazing stuff. This is where you're going to see the Native American caves that are chiseled out into the mountain. And then, like, when the wind comes through, they chiseled like a flute. They kind of made like a flute within the caverns of the mountain. So when the wind blows through, it makes a fluty. It's crazy. And so, yeah. So I'm going to give it. I've been to both, but I'm going to give it to Sedona.
All right, let's get to one more question. Let me see. Before we get out of here, hold up now. Somebody said Rich asked him about. I think he meant to say scalar. He put scalar, but scalar waves. You want to touch on scalar waves real quick, Kev?
Scalar waves?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with what he means by a scalar wave.
Okay, I'm gonna ask elaborate on that real quick. I know that scalar waves, they're supposed to they don't travel the same way as regular electromagnetic waves. They I need somebody else to explain that. But Blair used to talk about that. Who else? I think Bobby talked about that. A couple of people. You know about the tachyon, and you talked about the tachyon. Is that connected to the scalar waves? The tachyon? Scalar. Yeah, faster than light. Yeah, faster than light energy. Oh, my brother Sharif. Shout out to Sharif. I got to give you a call, Sharif. Shout out to Sharif. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Tachyon energy. Yeah, the energy that basically can move through all particles. Now, tachyon energy is is a lot of what the government were saying that they were using to help do a lot of this stuff. Now they'll say, now again, they'll say tachyon energy is some. Now what I've read, they'll talk about how tachyon energy is a theory, more so than an actual thing. But they're basing their experiments and their projects off of using tachyon energy. So they'll tell you it's more of a theory while they're actually doing it.
Right.
But yeah, it's that underlying, that super energy, the energy that moves like this super fast that goes through all particles.
Mm-hmm.
The helix energy waves that moves through all particles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what they're using. Uh, it's for what I've read. That's what they're experimenting with, in far as their to do these crazy ass projects that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. All right, let's see. If I could get one more, if I see one more good one before we get out. This is a good show, y'all. Let me try to get one more. Let's see. All right, well, let me ask. I'll ask this. What does this brother think about the pyramids, mounds scattered across the American land? Any insight, perspective on that? We talked about, and that's interesting because we talked about Tesla, and they say these pyramids are like power plants. You know, they're like batteries and stuff like that. They use different terms. What's your thoughts on that, Kev? The pyramids and the mounds in America.
Uh, I don't think they use batteries. A pyramid is a battery. It creates.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, they create an electromagnetic field that shoots up, depending on how big the pyramid is. It shoots up super high and then super wide. So that's why I used to have actually I still have one now. I have a bunch of pyramids now.
Mm-hmm.
Like uh so like something like so I have a bunch of pyramids like these, see that? So something like this. I have these in my house, like 10 of these. And so these create a field. They create an electromagnetic field around, around the house. And so I do that to combat the electromagnetic fields of the computers and all the electric stuff that I have in here, to kind of diffuse that stuff. And so, and also giant pyramids that you can meditate in and that type of stuff. So when I had a meditation pyramid, and I used to get in that, and it would empower anybody. All the homies used to try to come over to the house and just get into the pyramid just to power themselves up. So when you're creating a pyramid grid, you're creating a giant electromagnetic field grid. So the mounds in America, and again, some say the Americas are older. The people, the Aboriginals from the Americas are older. You know, we'll never actually know, but the pyramid structures that are over here mimic the same, or whichever mimics what. They're the same. They're the same structures, and I believe that they're to stabilize the electromagnetic field of the Earth. The ancestors went around the world building a lot of these things to help stabilize the electromagnetic field of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when you go to these places, you can invoke a lot of that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest people, and again, these are different pyramids that you can get and put around your house. This is Orgone pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest a lot of people get these all the time and just place them in strategic places around your house to build up your electromagnetic field. They also empower your electromagnetic field. Again, these are amplifiers of energy, and they can help you pull energy from the universe. So, you know,
Yeah, no, definitely.
the pyramid structures over here. Now, in Sedona, and again, I go back to Sedona. There's a certain path, and when you get to the top of the mountain, there's literally a not even like a carbon copy cutout of the Giza Plateau in Sedona, with a sphinx and 3 pyramids all right there. So that's what I think is ultimately powering Sedona,
Mm-hmm.
are those pyramids. But again, the pyramid structure is the strongest structure in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's an amplifier and a receiver of energies.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right. All right, family. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Tomorrow, family, I'm gonna have this sister on named Paris Williams, and she deals with the tarot deck. So we're gonna be dealing with the science of the tarot tomorrow. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 9. I want to thank my brother Kev for coming on.
Really quick,
Yeah,
real quick, bro. My bad, I mean to interrupt you. A lot
yeah.
of people. Did you ever see Jesse Ventura? that show that he used to have on?
About conspiracies or something?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I seen some of it back in the day. Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff he had on there was spot on.
Mm.
Like like he used to have Anthony Hilder, you know about Anthony Hilder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jordan Maxwell and all
Mhm.
those. He had all those cats on the show. So real cats who was dealing with the stuff. And one of the shows, if you guys want to get more into the government time travel type of stuff, he actually does a show on that in one of the, I forgot, I don't know what season it is, so you got to go check it out. I don't even know if I think they pulled all his episodes off of TV. You can't even really find them because of all
Right.
the stuff that he was dealing with. But if
Right.
you can find it, that Jesse Ventura, just type in like Jesse Ventura time travel and see if y'all can try to find it, because he really breaks
Right.
that down. Well, my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
you.
No. 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 Yeah. I forgot all about that show. That was damn. That was during them ancient alien days when ancient aliens
That's
first
still
came.
on the air.
That's
They still producing new shows of ancient aliens.
wow.
It's still on the air producing new
Wow.
shows. Yeah, Jesse Ventura came out 15 years ago, and he was dropping stuff, but because it was on like a small little channel called True TV.
True
Nobody
TV.
watched.
Yeah.
Nobody watched True TV,
Yeah.
but those shows were getting famous, and people were recording them and then sending them around, and they started to get around on the internet. So eventually, they shut down Jesse's show because he was he was doing too much.
Yeah.
But that one time travel show, he really gets into the government aspects of time travel. So if y'all want to y'all want to find that if you can.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things. A lot of interesting things, man. Kev, I want to thank you once again. Any information you want to give the people before we get out of here? I know you got a lot going on, Kev. Let the people know what you got going on before we get out of here.
Oh yeah, just teaching brothers your right, teaching brothers and sisters their rights. Know Your Rights Foundation. You can go to knowyourrightsfoundation.org. We're teaching you the law for free. And again, why are we teaching you the law? Because you need to learn how to deal with the popo. Because you have rights, and if you understand and you know those rights, it's a whole different ball game for you when the police officers pull you over, from when they think you don't know anything to when they know you know something about your rights. It's a completely different ball game. They back off, they hold off, because they have a bunch of liabilities or checks and balances in place to keep them in order. And if you are aware and you know those checks and balances, then you can make a police officer back off. And a lot of people, that shit don't work. That shit don't. It absolutely works. It absolutely works. I've been doing this. I've been studying law for over 30 years. It absolutely works. But you have to know your rights. And we know that it's a lot of melanated people are apathetic to learning their rights because we don't think that it works. And it also goes back in ancient times to something called bulldozing. Is where you get the word bulldozer from. In the Reconstruction, or after the Reconstruction, when melanated people can vote, they wanted to discourage melanated people from voting or being involved in the law. So they would go to the voting, they would go to where people were, the voting booths and stuff like that, where people were waiting in line to vote. And this is the KKK and the police, who are also part of the KKK. And they would beat the brothers and sisters in the line. They would give them what they called a bull's dose of a beating. And so that term, bull's dose of a beating, or bull's dose, became the word bulldozer. And it eventually instilled fear into our people, into melanated people, of not wanting to be involved in government or law and learn that stuff. So we have to come out of that. This is, this is a new time, new era. This is where the information is ready for you to learn. And we put it together. We compiled all the information that you need to know in order to combat, and not only combat, but to beat a police officer in their tracks, stop them in their tracks. It's the time for it. So knowyourrightsfoundation.org. We're going to teach you the law for free, absolutely for free. And what you're working for is one of these certifications. You want to get one of these police stop law certifications. So the deal is, we teach you the law for free, but you have to then go back out and teach it to your community. And that's the deal. And we basically have we have Know Your Rights manual, Also, when police officers violate your constitutional rights, they have something called a bond, an insurance, or an official's bond or insurance, and so they have to have this in order when they do something that's wrong, that the liability doesn't come back on the city. So they have to have these bonds or insurance. But when they violate your constitutional rights, because these bonds are tied to their oath to the Constitution, so when they violate your constitutional rights, then they lose the bond or insurance. And this is the true way you get back at them. You can sue them, but suing them takes like a year to 2 years, and they still are able to work. If you go after their bond or insurance, they lose their job immediately, or they're taken off the street immediately. So this is the true way that we get back at them. And then as well, I got the tools that you need when you get pulled over by the police. This is called a constitutional rights card right here. This is what you hand police officers that tells them what your rights are and what will happen if they violate those constitutional rights. Right here is a qualified immunity card, and this is the qualified immunity notice. So you put this in you have this in your car, and you tell the police officers, you hand it to them and say, I don't answer questions. Again, you're going to have to learn the law a little bit more, but these absolutely work. We got so many people who are using these, and these work. Again, it's time to take it back, everybody. It is time to take your power back from the police and stop talking about the popo did this and the popo did this. And I hear this so many times. It is time to take your power back from that. So if you want to learn your rights for free, knowyourrightsfoundation.org. And if you want any of those things, I will give them to you for free. If you go to realnagas.com, order the great book of melanin research. This is 120 years of melanin research they've been doing on you, compiled into one. You won't be able to find this nowhere else on the internet. Because when I went to this is the International Federation of Pigment Cell Societies. When I went there, I paid for the files. I got the files, and then they took them off the internet. So after I got them, they took them off the internet. So this is the only place you're going to be able to find this book is with me. And I actually turned the files into a book. They weren't a book. I turned it into a book. So really, you can get that at realnagas.com. You order the hard copy. I will send you the whole police stop law package. Also, we have flashcards for you guys, for the kids. So we need to teach the children, and this is how we're going to teach the children. This is how we teach the children with flashcards, all this information. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Brother Rich.
Did you leave your contact info? Did you leave them?
So realnagas.com for if you want the hard copy melanin book, and you want the whole free package. I'm also giving away all 5 flashcards, decks of flashcards right now if you order the hard copy melanin book. And then realnagas.org, knowyourrightsfoundation.org to volunteer. You sign up as a volunteer. We'll hit you back with a questionnaire. You fill out that questionnaire, and then we'll set you up a time for an interview to bring you in. We got so many people who are learning the law right now. We're on a mission to raise 1 million Johnny Cochrans. Johnny Cochran was the dopest lawyer in American history. If y'all don't know, he was the dopest lawyer in American history. Really out there. He was a civil rights lawyer. Really fighting for melanated people to get them out of jail and to battle the system. So we're trying to follow in that lane and teach people their rights so that, once you're able to know how to deal with police, sky's the limit after that. So this is what we're doing. This is the mission. This is what we're having.
Indeed. I want to thank you once again, Kev, for coming on the show, blessing us with this knowledge, this information. I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight.
Like I said, I ain't take it personal. You didn't invite me down to the,
gathering.
The gathering of the masses, brother. I didn't take it personal. I didn't feel hurt in my heart. I didn't feel no pain.
I told Kev, y'all, I was like, Kev all the way in LA. That's a 6-hour flight. So I'm like, damn, I don't know if Kev want to come out. That's 6 hours coming, 6 hours going. So I ain't know if Kev want to come out.
I do it for you, bro. I'm just messing with you, though.
I know that. But I definitely definitely appreciate the support. Since we've been doing shows together, every show's been amazing, man. So I definitely appreciate you,
man. You actually hit me up and got my books and my stuff before you was like the first person to do this stuff. So I appreciate that, brother. Man.
After I seen that show on the Conjunction, I said, man, I'm like, this is my way. I gotta support this brother for putting out information like that. Somebody put out good information. I like to show love and support. So, but even by me having you on the show, I want to introduce you to my audience and to the world. So, yeah, just keep up the good work, my brother. We're gonna talk soon, family. I thank you for coming out tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night with Paris Wilson. We're gonna be learning about the tarot deck and some of the ancient sciences that we used to tap into as a people before we got hit with this spell, this or like Rod Hayes said, this conjure war that got placed over us, and seems like we forgot everything, y'all. But we are remembering now. We're waking up now. So thanks to brothers like Kev, the brother Sharif in the chat, King Simon, and a lot of other brothers and sisters that's out there. So I will see you tomorrow, Kev. I'm gonna talk to you soon, my brother.
I appreciate you, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, family. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow night at 9.